Good morning, everyone. We are the Group 7 and we are going to report gender and labor. So, before we start, I would like to read the lesson objectives. At the end of the lesson, you will understand fully the relationship of gender equality, and labor. Determine the status of gender equality in the various sectors of the labor market, and comprehend salient policies on gender equality in the labor market. So next, let us define labor. Activities pertaining to developing goods and delivering services for economic reasons. Ano nga ba ang labor? Ang labor ay ang tumutukoy sa pisikal at mental na pagsisikap na inilalagay ng mga manggagawa kung saan ito ay ang mga ginagawa ng mga manggagawa or ito ay yung mga trabaho na ginagamitan ng lakas or ng physical. And next naman ay ang workforce. Ano nga ba ang workforce? Workforce, a sector in the population engaged in economic and productive activities. So, ano nga ba ang workforce? So, ang workforce ay ang tumutukoy sa kabuuang bilang ng mga taong manggagawa or ito na ay yung mga manggagawa na gagawa sa mga trabaho. Next is, women face different constraints from men in the labor market. This is recognized in Republic Act 9710, known as the Magna Carta of Women, enacted in 2009. This act recognizes that equality of men and women entails the abolition of the unequal structures and practices that perpetuate discrimination and inequality. In connection with employment, the Philippine Commission on Women indicates that the Magna Carta of Women will level the playing field by making productive resources and economic opportunities equally available for both men and women. Republic Act 9710 o ang Magna Carta is dito ay gusto niyang mawala na yung discrimination, inequality. So, dito kasi yung mga kababaihan ay maraming mga kinakaharap na mga hadlang or yung constraints na sabi niya dito na hindi kagaya ng mga kalalakihan na hindi masyado sa discriminations, inequality, hindi kagaya ng mga kababaihan na nakaka-experience ng discriminations. So, ang gusto ng batas na ito ay dapat may pagkakapantay-pantay ang mga kababaihan at mga kalalakihan. So, gusto niyang matanggal yung unequal structures or yung mga practices na discriminations or ang mga inequalities. Naman sa Philippine Commission on Women, sa Magna Carta of Women, makakatulong upang maging pantay ang access sa mga trabaho or economic opportunities na pwede sa babae at lalaki. Sabi nga dito is economic opportunities equally available for both men and women. So, dito ay gusto nilang tanggalin yung discrimination or yung inequality. Gusto nila ng pantay. So, nagkaroon ng mga opportunities na pwede sa babae at sa lalaki. Naman tayo sa employment sector sa agriculture. Women farmers do not have an equal opportunity to acquire land or register it in their own names. They have fewer inheritance rights than male farmers. Land ownership is important not only to women's ability to earn income, but also a source of empowerment and autonomy within the household. Their lack of land also affects their ability to gain access to credit facilities. Naman sa sektor ng agrikultura, maraming mga babaeng farmers na hindi nagkaroon ng pantay na opportunity na magkaroon ng lupa or maiparehistro sa kanilang mga pangalan yung kanilang mga lupa. So dito is mas may karapatan sila sa mga lalaking mga farmers na magkaroon ng magkaroon ng lupa. So ang land ownership ay hindi lamang mahalaga sa mga kababaihan para kumita. Ito rin ay parang nag-empower, sabi niya dito, but also as a source of empowerment. Mas makaka-empower ito sa mga women. So dito naman sa their lack of land also affects their ability to gain access to credit facilities. So dito, ang kakulangan nila sa pagmamay-ari ng lupa ay nakakaapekto rin sa kanilang kakayahan makakuha ng mga opportunities sa lupa nila. So, example dito is, kumbaga is, anihan. Yung lupa hindi nakapangalan sa'yo, gusto mong humingi ng share. Ayaw kang bigyan kasi nga hindi naman daw nakapangalan sa'yo yung lupa. So, yon malelesen yung opportunities mong makakuha ng mga or makapag-access ng opportunities sa lupa mo. So, kailangan na magkaroon ng equal opportunities or dapat bigyan ng opportunity ang mga kababaihan na iparehistro yung mga pangalan nila sa mga lupa nila. So, para naman magkaroon sila ng mga opportunities sa kanilang mga lupa at mapakinabangan nila ito nang sa gayon ay magkaroon sila ng more incomes. Women are also hindered in their access to extension services, skills development including training in management and marketing skills, and improved farming equipment. Dito ay nagkaroon na ng mga trainings and mga skills development para yung mga kababaihan ay magkaroon ng knowledge about sa farming equipments. So dito is nagkaroon na ng mga skills development. So, they require special assistance to achieve equal access, and this can be achieved through gender-specific action plans that target the needs of women farmers and gender mainstreaming that is monitored for effectiveness to ensure that women share appropriately in the sector's growth. So, dito naman, upang ma-achieve nilang equal access, nangangailangan sila ng special assistance. Tapos, upang ma-achieve naman nila ito, kailangan nilang magkaroon ng action plan at para alam nila kung ano yung mga target na mga pangangailangan ng mga kababaihang farmers at para maging effective yung mga improvements or ma-achieve nila yung equal access. So, dito, sa gender streaming that is monitored for effectiveness to ensure that women share appropriately in the sector's growth. So, dito, yung gender streaming daw ay minamonitor yung effectiveness ng share siguro ng women's share na knowledge or achievements sa pag-grow ng sektor ng agrikultura.
Dito naman tayo sa industry and manufacturing. So sabi dito, the number of women working in economic zone is estimated to represent 64% of total employment and may be much higher in some industries such as electronics and apparel. World Bank 2011, a woman's share of employment in the export processing zones is much greater than women's share of the labor force as a whole and the conditions of employment. So dito is it highlights the significant role women play in economic and export processing zones, particularly within the industry and manufacturing sectors. It points out that women are estimated to make up a substantial 64% of the total employment in these economic zones. Interestingly, this figure can be even higher in specific industries like electronics and apparel according to the World Bank's 2011 A data. And it emphasizes that women's participations in employment within these export processing zones is considerably greater than their overall representations in the general labor force, and it also raises a point of concern regarding the conditions of their employment. The information suggested that while economic and the export processing zones provide significant employment opportunities for women, their concentration in these sectors, sometimes under potentially concerning conditions, warrants attention. Dito naman sa next slide is report suggests that working and living conditions are poor, that women find it difficult to obtain work while pregnant and after the birth of their baby, and that unionizations is common. So dito, it builds upon the previous one and sheds light on the challenges faced by women working in these economic zones. It indicates that suggests the working and living conditions for these women are often poor. This could encompass various issues like low wages, low working hours, unsafe environments, or inadequate housing. Highlights the difficulties women encounter in securing or retaining employment during the pregnancy and after giving birth. This suggests potential discriminations or lack of support working mothers. That unionization is common in these zones. This implies that workers are organizing collectively to advocate for their rights and better working conditions. So, on this, while women form a significant part of the workforce in these economic zones, they often face challenging working and living conditions, including difficulties related to pregnancy and childbirth. However, their collective actions through unionizations offers a potential avenue for addressing these issues.
Tourism. It appears that tourism planning has not included women or has had influence regard for gender issues. Within the tourism industry, relatively few women have the educational qualification or foreign language skills to compete for front of house position in the hotel industry as tour guides or in travel agency, and women are more likely to become employed as housekeeper, waitress, or similar low-level position. Target educational programs could provide women with the necessary qualification to climb the job ladder, which could progressively help to the imbalance between work opportunities for women and women and eliminate opportunities for men and women and eliminate gender gaps in tourism employment. And ang sabi niya dito is, sa madaling salita, ang sinabi ng sa madaling salita, may hindi pagkapantay-pantay sa pagitan ng kalalakihan at kababaihan sa industriya ng turismo. Sa mga pangunahing dahilan, ito ay ang mga kakulangan ng kababaihan sa sapat na edukasyon at kasanayan, lalo sa mga bayagang salita, and na kailangan para sa mga mas mataas na prestitiosong posisyon tulad ng pagiging front desk, staff sa hotel, tour guide, travel agent. Dahil dito, kadalasan, ang mga kababaihan ay napupunta lamang sa mababang posisyon tulad ng pagiging tagalinis, waitress, o iba pang trabaho na hindi gaanong kinikilala at mababa ang sahod. And ipinapahiwatig rin sa talata na hindi talaga utunan ng pansin ang papel ng kababaihan sa mga plano ukol sa turismo. Parang hindi sila isinama o hindi kinonsider ang kanilang mga pangailangan at potential sa industry. Ang solusyon na inihain sa suliraning ito ay ang pagkakaroon ng programang pang-edukasyon na sadyang ginawa para sa mga kababaihan. Sa pamamagitan nito, matutulungan sila magkaroon ng mas mataas na qualification at kakayahan upang makapasok sa mas magandang posisyon. Habang tumatagal, makakatulong ito para mas maging patas ang oportunidad sa trabaho para sa kalalakihan at kababaihan, at unti-unting nawala ang agwat o diskriminasyon batay sa kasarian sa larangan ng turismo. Sa madaling salita, kailangan bigyan ng mas maraming oportunidad ang kababaihan sa pamagitan ng edukasyon at pagsasanay upang magkaroon sila ng pantay na laban sa trabaho sa industriya ng turismo. Dumako naman tayo sa business processing outsourcing. The Philippines Information Technology Business Process Outsourcing Roadmap 2011 to 2016 is not gender responsive and does not address women's constants in accessing higher paid work in non-voice service or the likely grow information technology and engineering. Sabi niya dito, ang Information Technology Business Process Outsourcing Roadmap ng Pilipinas para sa taong 2011 to 2016 ay hindi gender responsive. Ibig sabihin dito, hindi dito isinasaalang-alang o tinutugunan ang mga isyong kinakaharap ng kababaihan sa industry, lalo na sa pag-access o pagkuha ng mas mataas na bayad na trabaho sa mga non-voice service gaya ng software development and data analytic o IT engineering. Sa madaling sabi, kahit na lumalago ang mga oportunidad sa larangan ng teknolohiya at engineering, hindi maliwanag o sapat ang plano kung paano. Matutulungan ang mga kababaihan na makapasok at umangat sa mga trabaho nito. Halimbawa is maraming babae ang naiwan sa mga mabababa ang sahod o paulit-ulit na gawain sa voice services tulad ng call centers, habang mas kaunti ang napupunta sa mas technical o specialized na position na mas mataas ang kita. Kaya't sinabi na hindi patas ang pagtingin ng roadmap sa kasarian or gender at kailangan pa nitong ayusin upang maging mas pantay ang oportunidad para sa mga babae na industry. So, next is this matters as well as the pay differential between men and women and employment condition require specific government attention. Sabi dito, ang mga issue gaya ng pagkakaiba ng sahod ng mga lalaki at babae, at ang kalagayan ng trabaho ay nangangailangan ng tiyak at malinaw na aksyon mula sa pamahalaan. Sa madaling salita or madaling sabi, hindi sapat na hayaang pribadong sektor ang mga magdesisyon ukol dito. Kailangan rin ang intervention ng gobyerno para matiyak na walang diskriminasyon sa sahod batay sa kasarian. Dapat pantay ang bayad kung pareho ang trabaho. Tapos, maayos at patas ang kondisyon sa trabaho para sa lahat. Lalo na sa mga kababaihan na madalas naapektuhan ng dahil hindi pantay na trato sa lugar ng trabaho. Ibig sabihin is, dapat may mga pulisya o batas, rules, or konkretong hakbang ang gobyerno para matugunan ang hindi pagkapantay-pantay sa kita at trabaho sa loob ng industry.
Government services. Public sector employment is an important source of job with better pay and conditions for women than many others industrial sectors. But women are constrained by a course module for gender and society, a human ecological approach. Being predominantly employed in tradition, gender stereotype, care sector, government occupations such as health and education, and they are underrepresented in the higher paying subsectors. The Philippines has strong gender mainstreaming programs, which has given women greater access to government employment generally. But women in the civil sector may still be underpaid given their levels of education, experience, and ability. Sa Pilipinas, maganda ang gender representation sa government jobs kumpara sa ibang industries. Ibig sabihin, mas may pagkakataon ang mga babae na makakakuha ng trabaho sa gobyerno na may mas magandang sahod at working conditions kaysa sa ibang sectors. Meron ding mga gender mainstreaming programs. Ito yung mga programa na tumutulong para mas maging accessible sa kababaihan ang mga oportunidad sa public employment. Improvements, may mga challenges pa rin. Maraming mga babae ang nakafocus pa rin sa traditional roles like trabaho sa health at education sectors, unusually considered caring jobs. Kakaunti lang ang babae sa mga high-paying positions or subsectors sa mga gobyerno. Kahit mataas ang education, experience at skills ng mga babae, minsan mas mababa pa rin ang bayad sa kanila kumpara sa dapat nilang sahod. Entrepreneurship. There has been a rapid surge in the number and proportion of female entrepreneurs in developing countries. Minity and Nodi 2010 280 studies indicate that female-led MSMEs increase employment opportunities for women and contribute to wider development goals ADB and ILO 2013. One survey indicated that women entrepreneurs are more likely than men to be motivated by necessity. These are livelihood-oriented entrepreneurs attempting to escape unemployment. Vietnam Women Entrepreneurs Council 2007. Dito sa entrepreneurship, dumarami ang mga babaeng negosyante sa mga developing countries. Ang kanilang mga negosyo ay nakakatulong sa kababaihan at sa ekonomiya. Kadalasan, napipilitan silang magnegosyo dahil sa pangangailangan, hindi lang dahil sa passion o opportunity.
So, dito naman tayo sa salient policies on gender equality in the labor market. So, ay makikita dyan sa may slide yung the Philippines has ratified 34 ILO conventions and is party to all of the fundamental United Nations Human Rights Covenants and Conventions. So, dito is, there are some of the key policies in the Philippines designed to foster gender equality in the workplace. So, essentially, the Philippines has made significant commitments on paper. They signed onto a whole host of international agreements through the International Labor Organizations and the United Nations, really showing they're on board with the global push for equal rights. Then, when you look at their laws, the 1987 Constitution itself has articles that guarantee fundamental equality between women and men. So, beyond that, there are several Republic Acts listed like 6725, 7192, 7877, and 8551 that further flesh out these protections. These laws tackle things like discrimination, sexual harassment, and even allow for special temporary measures to level the playing field. So the Anti-Sexual Harassment Act of 1995 is specifically pointed out as a good example of this kind of supportive legislation. Then there's a big one. Ito yung Magna Carta of Women, Republic of 9710. This is represented as really comprehensive framework that spells out the specific rights, needs, and support that women require not just in their jobs but in their lives overall. It's meant to be a strong foundation. However, the image also touches on a crucial point. Just having the laws is not the end of the story. It mentions that even though the Magna Carta is a good framework, there are still problems with actually putting it into practice. Plus, it highlights that many Filipino women might not even know what their rights are, and even if they do, the process for making a compliant can be confusing. So, the Philippines has a solid set of policies and laws aimed at ensuring gender equality in the labor market, reflecting both international standards and specific national legislation like the Magna Carta. And however, the challenge lies in effectively implementing these laws and ensuring that women are aware of and can easily exercise their rights.